Even teachers who are really good often don't know why what they're doing is working. And that makes it harder to do more of what's working. And it makes it harder for other teachers to learn from their effective colleagues. And I really appreciated this comment from Karen, who says, interacting with teachers who seem to do pretty well, I sometimes found that they didn't really know why something worked. It just did. So my task was to help them determine what it was that they did that made things work so they could do it again. I call it holding up the mirror. And then Karen shares some questions. And I think this is a really good comment because people often don't know what it is in their practice that makes it work. Sometimes they focus on the surface features and they'll tell other people what they think they need to know in order to copy that practice. So an effective teacher might be trying to help a less effective colleague, giving them pointers on what to do to be more effective, but it's not the right features. It's something beneath the surface that's a little bit harder to see. So as instructional leaders, we do have a really critical role to play in holding up a mirror on practice and helping teachers to think about what it is that really makes their practice work. And we go into a lot of depth on this question in the book, Mapping Professional Practice, How to Develop Instructional Frameworks to Support Teacher Growth. This is, I think, my better of my two books that are out so far, written with Heather Bell Williams. And it's all about how to describe practice in kind of a rubric form. So if you've seen the Danielson framework, you know about those 4-level rubrics, and unpacking a practice and figuring out what really is it that makes it work is a tough process, but it's extremely valuable because once you know the difference between the surface features that we don't really need to worry about copying and the deeper elements that really make it work, then people can learn from one another. Then people can do more in their own practice of what's actually making it work. Then people can stop doing the things that don't matter. So to figure this out for yourself, what do you have to do as an instructional leader? How can you hold up that mirror to practice and help teachers figure out what it is that's making their practice work? Well, of course, you have to get into classrooms and you have to talk with teachers about their practice. And I specifically want to encourage you to ask one particular type of question that I call an evidence-driven question. And in the brackets, you will see there is room for evidence. You notice something that the teacher is doing and you say, hey, talk to me more about that. Explain that, elaborate on that for me. Now, we don't want to put teachers on the defensive and say, why did you do that? Why? No, you want to ask how questions. Talk to me, tell me more. It doesn't even have to be a whole question. You can ask a broken question and say, just, tell me more about that, when you did such and such, and get the teacher talking and reflecting. That's why my first book on classroom walkthroughs is called Now We're Talking. You can start asking these evidence-driven, open-ended questions right away and start learning what it is that's making teacher practice work.